It's been one of those days. It is an eye patch day. Oh yeah. Breathe life back into my eyes, please. Hello everybody, welcome back. Welcome to the bathroom. Please forgive my appearance. I have been unwell for the last few days and I am slowly coming back to life. I have showered, I have washed my hair. It's a miracle, but I'm so pale that you wouldn't know. I think that whenever I'm in my natural pale state, people always ask if I'm okay. And alas, it is just the reality of being a pale, translucent person where you just see all of your lack of sleep and you need a little pick-me-up on the face to make it look like you are indeed amongst the living. So today I thought I would show you my go-to everyday makeup pale gal edition. And I wanted to make our New Year dreams come true by putting all of my favorite things into one makeup bag. If I were to be a one makeup bag girly and just keep that on my little bathroom counter and just get ready with it every day, this is what it would be. And I was laughing so hard because on my last video, Sandra Jazz758 commented saying, "You keep mentioning a capsule makeup collection where you have one bag of favorites. Would love that video and could not run fast enough to my Sephora cart to buy your recs." And then she proceeded to write down every single one of my favorite top products and I was like, you are absolutely correct. I feel so seen. That is indeed my lineup. So while my favorites might not necessarily change, I don't often film in my true pale state. Like I will usually have a little fake tan on and be like, hi, these are my favorite makeup products. But I wanted to kind of talk to you about it from the pale gal lens because I know that so many of us are on this mission of trying to find the products that work for us. The very pale, very translucent gals. Many things pull more pink, many things pull more yellow. We're constantly trying to find dupes for the beloved OG NYX Nude Beige and other cool toned like blushes and lip products that work. So I wanted to talk you through my everyday makeup bag, all the products that are in here and the tried and true pale gal faves. I want to start with the base products. So like I said, many base products that exist on the market pull either very yellow or very pink, and it's actually very hard to find a true neutral undertone. So the closest thing that I have personally found is the Lisa Eldridge Skin Tint. This one's in the shade 1.5, T1.5, and I want to show it to you swatched next to a few of my other products that I would typically reach for when I am pale. So here is the beloved Lisa Eldridge. You can see it's just very, very neutral, not too pink, not too warm, gorgeous for every day, simply stunning on the skin. Here's another one of my favorites, the House Labs. This one's in the shade 40, fair neutral, and you can see here, this is the Lisa Eldridge and this is the House Labs. Even here, swatched next to each other, it's just pulling a little bit deeper, a little bit warm, and it's very noticeable on the skin, especially when you can see I have like quite a bit of pigment in my face, but my neck is like very pale, which is often the case. So many products are like this, where I'll apply it onto my face and my face turns kind of like extra yellow, and then I have to pull it down and just completely paint my neck or just wear a turtleneck or else I look kind of crazy. So there's the House Labs next to the Lisa. Then another one of my favorite daily products is the Tower 28 Sunny Days. This is in the shade 10 Larchmont and swatched next to the other two. You can see how it almost looks completely orange, which is hilarious. And as these are sitting here, it's funny because the House Labs one is turning kind of more and more pinky. And then the other one is the CL Mineral SPF. And this one's also very, very pink when it's swatched and applied. So if you look at my hand and how pale I am, you can see that even the Lisa Eldridge one is a little bit slightly deeper than my natural skin tone, but it's just the closest in matching that neutral undertone. It's not pulling too yellow or pink. So this is kind of what I'm talking about when I'm trying to find the perfect base. It can be very, very hard to find a true neutral base. And the same applies for concealer. Now the Tower 28 BU concealer is the closest product that I have found to a neutral, true matching undertone. And they actually just announced that they've launched a few shade extensions. So I'm curious to see the one extra pale version that they brought out. I kind of want to swatch it and test it. I just don't have my hands on it yet, but I intend to. But as far as the bases go, this has pretty much been my tried and true combo. This is the one thing that works. I can throw it on my skin. It matches. It doesn't turn me orange. It doesn't turn me pink. And I haven't found any other combination that matches these undertones as well as these two. Now, I actually also wanted to mention the Lisa Eldridge concealer. Unfortunately though, I have no words or numbers here to indicate what shade this exactly is. So I do sincerely apologize, but much like the skin tints, this one has a beautiful, beautiful undertone. And if you are very pale and also very prone to breakouts and you just have these like giant angry red dots that you just can't do anything about, it's really nice to have something like this to just go around and spot conceal to give you that extra coverage, especially if it's a little bit harder for you to find a concealer that really matches the undertone. So having a little spot concealer like this is also a dream. You apply less product, and when you're using using less product, it's actually even better for pale skin because a lot of these lighter shades just tend to have kind of like a chalky formula. I don't know what it is about the lighter tones of pigment, but they sometimes just separate a little bit. And even some of my favorite formulas, like the old school, like Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation, a product that I loved in the deeper skin tones, just looked crazy when I bought the lighter ones because it was just not the same. It was like chalky, separated. It was not the same as the deeper, slightly warmer shades and formulas. So let's quickly chat about the brows. I'm gonna go in with my Valentino Brow Trio and just start here. One of the reasons why I love this product is that it really does suit my very kind of cool toned, very ashy brown eyebrows, and a lot of brow products, especially when you're going into the lighter tones, pull very, very warm, especially if you're going into like the blonde territory. It can pretty much just be like a reddy brown crayon being drawn onto your eyebrows. So when I find a product like this that's so beautifully cool toned, it's just gonna be one that I reach for on repeat. And the formula can't be beat. I love this one. It doesn't have an extensive shade range whatsoever. I think they do have 3 shades of this, but the taupe shade in particular is just one that works so well for me. And I find that if I use a brow product that just pulls a little bit more warm, it just throws my entire look off. If you are pale, pay attention to the products that you're putting in your brows. So here's the Lisa Eldridge skin tint. I'm just gonna apply it in little droplets around my face. And I love this product so much because it's so light. It is a skin tint, and you'll see that as I spread it over my skin, it's not providing like a whole lot of coverage, but it's really just taming any of those patches of redness that I have in my skin and really bringing it to kind of like a neutral zone, a neutral playing ground. And at first when I blend it out, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks really pale and really sickly. But as it starts to like sink into the skin, it just matches so nicely with my neck and kind of makes everything look a little bit more harmonious. And then because it's not like a sickly chalky white like so many of the lighter shades of products are, I guess we could call it that olive undertone, there's still like some subtle creamy undertone here that prevents you from looking ill, I'd say. And as I blend this in, it's just giving me that nice wash of color all over my skin and evening everything out. So hopefully that is a good look of the Lisa Eldridge skin tint in its magic. I know I throw it on a lot just like kind of casually and in vlogs and when I'm getting ready and whatnot, but I really wanted to show it to you guys like up close because it really is such a magical product. I can't get enough of it. And every single shade I've tried has just been consistent and I'm so happy. And I feel like this product alone has like brought me to a very positive place with my natural skin tone. So dear Lisa, we love you and thank you for that. Now let's chat blush. There's a lot of discussions when it comes to pale gal appropriate blush out there. And honestly, it's like my greatest struggle. And I've pretty much had my entire life change when it came to this Anastasia Beverly Hills Baby Pink blush. And it says baby pink, but when you pull it out of the tube, it is in fact purple. Like I would call this lavender, I would call this lilac, I would call it anything other than pink. But for whatever reason, whatever the science may be, when you take this very purple shade and apply it onto pale skin, it pulls pink. It does just blend out that way. When you first apply it, you're like, oh my gosh, what do you mean? That's purple, that's straight purple. But just you wait. As we blend it in, as it sits into the skin and meshes with your own colors and what have you, whatever the color science is, it's gonna turn into the most natural, lovely little flush of pink. And so often when I use like a neutral pink or a neutral blush, or try and find a blush shade that's appropriate for pale skin, it just ends up looking too warm. And when it's too warm, it ends up just looking a little bit muddy or wrong, or there's just something about the color temperature that makes you feel a little bit off. And so using these brighter purpley shades I find just really helps to offset that. And I've seen a lot of people talk about that online, but this is kind of one of the first times where I've experienced it firsthand. And you guys know how much I love my Nude Sticks Bareback blush so much, but even that one can be used almost like a bronzer where I could apply that all over my face and it almost has that warming effect like a bronzer. This one is if you're looking for that really true like fresh brightening pink vibe. Hopefully you guys can see as I blended it out, it's really pulled a little bit warmer, it's looking less purple, and it's just adding a little flush of life to my skin. I'm gonna go into my little Victoria Beckham Travertine contour stick, and you'll notice that I'm not gonna be putting any bronzer onto my skin. And sometimes I don't even put anything onto my eyes, but I think that just putting a little wash of something brings a little bit of life to the eyes. I do like to put something on there, and using a contour stick that isn't too gray has a nice impact on just making you look a little bit more alive. But I find when I'm in my true pale state like this, I don't like to put any bronzer on. Even my Makeup and Mario bronzer, it can be a little bit too much. And if I wanted to go in and add a little bit of warmth, I could do so with something like this, like a contour stick. But most of the time I don't even think it's necessary. I think going in with the blush and adding some life into the skin like that does enough. I'm gonna use a bit of the Tower 28 concealer now and just put a tiny bit of that onto the inner corners. And then I'm gonna use that on top of the blush to help tone it down even more, because especially when you're using a liquid blush, sometimes it can be easy to go a little bit heavy-handed, and having the good old underpainting technique helps to offset that. And hopefully this will give you a good visual of the Tower 28 concealer as well, and just how lovely and brightening and neutral it is without being sickly looking. I'm just patting that right here underneath the eyes and just going over top of the area where we put the blush and just trying to diffuse that a little bit into the skin. You can always take your finger and pat it in at the same time just to try and melt the product in even more. But really we're just trying to blend the two colors together. And if you had any additional specific spots that you wanted to cover up, you can go ahead and use the little spot concealer. Knock on wood, we're happily living with no current breakouts at the moment, but if you wanted to just do very minimal, very natural spot concealing, you can use something like this to not pile on too much product. With everyday makeup, always less is always more. I'm gonna take my KJH brand Nano Set Brow Gel and just lift my brows, because now that I'm done my face, I just want to get these hairs up. They're looking a little low and sad. To finish off the base, one of the most important parts is the highlight. This is the Victoria Beckham Pearl highlight, and I couldn't be more obsessed with this. And the one thing that I've learned on this pale skin journey is that if you are adding glow, it makes everything else look healthy and complete. If I don't put a highlighter on, I find that it's fine, but I look a little bit sick. When I go in and add that highlighter to the top of my cheekbones, I just find that this, more than any other step, brings everything together. It adds that wash of health without adding any additional color. I don't know how to explain it more than to just kind of show you the magic of a highlighter, especially on pale skin, for bringing life and bringing juiciness and focus to the face. And even if I'm putting nothing else on my face, if I put a little brow gel on and I put some highlighter on, it instantly makes me look more alive. I personally find that a cream highlighter like this works better than a powder highlighter. A powder highlighter can just kind of add to that pale chalkiness sometimes if you're not using the right shade, but this Victoria Beckham one, it's just like literally wet. Can you see how wet that is? It just puts the most beautiful natural dew onto the skin. I can't scream about it enough. And hopefully you can see how much life that brought to the face just by itself. The skin was okay before, the skin is fabulous after this. If there's anything to take away here, I'd say it's these two. These two are like currently in my everyday makeup bag, my non-negotiables, okay? For mascara, we're gonna do brown mascara. This is my Lancome Hypnose mascara in brown. And this mascara in particular has become one of my favorites because a lot of brown mascaras that are available on the market just pull super, super warm. And if you apply it, again, just like anything else, it can just make your makeup look off. It's a crazy thing, this whole color world. I don't have words to explain it, I can only simply show you. But using a brown mascara is just a little bit softer, a little bit lighter than a black mascara, looks a little bit less intense, a bit more natural on the skin, and I just find is a little bit more pale gal friendly. You can also go without mascara, and I love doing that too. I think it's very chic and high fashion looking, but there's nothing like a little fluttery lash to make you look more alive. I wanted to note that I'm not putting any powder on, and that is intentional because the products that I'm using in particular, I'm doing in such light layers. I don't find that I need to apply powder. They really do last very well throughout the day, and sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes if I put powder on, it kind of just pale powder on top of pale skin. I don't know, it's just, I don't typically wear it on a daily basis. So we're going no powder, but I did want to talk to you about the lips because much like everything else in this video and this conversation that we're having, there's very few lip products that I find work very well for pale skin, and that's just a personal preference. So many of my favorite lip products just kind of pull a little bit warm on me. So there's a few that I really tend to reach for when I am in my natural state like this, and they just work for me no matter what. One of them being Merit Bespoke. This is a beautiful, true, cool tone lip liner. It almost has a little bit of a purpley undertone. It's a very creamy formula, so you can really blend it out and it's not gonna be too pigmented. It looks super natural. If I just want the lightest of light layers on my lips, I just wanna bring a little bit of of life back to them. I throw a little bit of this on and it is good to go. It's a little bit more creamy, so it's not as long lasting, which is devastating. But even this alone just completes that look, and I think looks great by itself. But then if you wanted to accentuate that, obviously one of my favorite lip products ever, and I think is so pale skin friendly, is Chanel Boy. And this is just a gorgeous, very cool tone, very like, it's like an icy beige lipstick. It's so pretty. And even this on its own is so nice. I personally just like to apply a little lip liner, but this to me is like pale gal luxury. I don't know what it is about this lip, the juiciness of it, but I think it's so gorgeous and it's one of my favorite lip products of all time. If you wanted extra gloss, you guys know how much I love my Bobbi Brown Bare Lilac. It's like all the thing. Plump lip serum, but then online it says lip oil too. It's all the above. Just a hydrating, gorgeous little lip serum here in the Bare Lilac shade. The purple in this is so pretty, and just like the blush, having that purple undertone just looks so icy and cool on the lips. It makes everything look better. I need to buy a backup immediately because I've been scraping the ends off of this for so long, but it's such a pretty lip combination. And I could burn all the rest of my glosses and have Bare Lilac and be a happy gal. I don't even want to take this off, but I'm going to show you another one. Now I'd say that's my go-to, but I simply have to mention it because I've been wearing it so much recently, but it's the Wonder Skin Whimsical Lip Mask. I've been calling it a lip stain because in my brain it is a lip stain, but it's a lip mask. They have two different versions apparently. One is the one that I have, which is a wipe off version, but apparently they also have a peel off version. But I have been loving the lip stains so much. It's so nice to be able to put it on and not have to worry about it at all throughout the day. It just stays on all day. And I don't love to put this all over my lip. I kind of outline my lip as if I were putting a lip liner on, and then I just blend it a little bit into the lip, but I don't do like a full swipe on my full lip because I just find it's a little bit too intense for me. I like a little bit of that ombre effect, if you will. And all you have to do is leave it on for a minute. I could have done that earlier, but we're going bit by bit, piece by piece in this video, okay? Take a sip. This is the stage that I lovingly call unicorn poo. And then you can take a little wipe and wipe it off. And you can see the most lovely shade of like a natural purpley pink is left behind. I am obsessed. This has changed my life. Another one of my favorite lip stains always is the Victoria Beckham Bisou lip stain, but apparently they're being discontinued. I have no idea what to say to that, but it's one of my favorite lip products of all time and I'm still coping with that information. But it's also quite a lot deeper. I find that this is a lot more appropriate for just every day. And ever since I discovered this, I've pretty much been wearing nothing else, but you can put a little bit of the Bobbi Brown gloss on top. And it is the most gorgeous combo ever. Are you kidding me? And with the gloss applied and the hair down, that, my friends, is the finished makeup look. So that is everything. That is my complete everyday makeup bag and an entire walkthrough of some of my favorite products to make you feel fabulous when you are sitting in your natural pale skin. This is the makeup bag for all of my pale skin girlies out there who are struggling to find the products that work and make you look fresh and alive and awake and ultimately make you feel the most comfortable and confident in your natural pale skin. So if I were to get rid of all my products and start from scratch, these are the products that would be in my makeup bag. If you guys have any favorites that you think I need to know about, please do let me know in the comments down below. I'm always interested in trying some of your favorites and seeing what products can be added into my everyday makeup bag. Thanks so much for being here and for watching. I hope you enjoyed the look, and I'll see you all very, very soon for a new video. Bye!